Donald Trump's policies towards China, Canada, and Mexico were marked by a more protectionist and America-first approach. Here's a breakdown of the major actions and policies he implemented with respect to these countries. China. 1. Trade war and tariffs. Trump initiated a trade war with China, imposing tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods. The goal was to address the trade deficit and force China to change its trade practices, especially around intellectual property theft and forced technology transfers. 2. Huawei and national security. The Trump administration took steps to limit the influence of Chinese tech companies, particularly Huawei, over national security concerns. The U.S. imposed sanctions on Huawei and urged allies to avoid using its technology in 5G networks. 3. Human rights in Hong Kong. Trump's administration took a stronger stance on China's human rights record, particularly in relation to the treatment of Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang and its crackdown on democracy in Hong Kong. The U.S. imposed sanctions on Chinese officials for these reasons. Canada. 1. NAFTA renegotiation, USMCA. One of Trump's first major actions was to renegotiate the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA. The New Deal, called the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, aimed to make trade fairer for the U.S. by addressing issues like dairy exports, automobile manufacturing, and intellectual property rights. 2. Tariffs on steel and aluminum. Trump imposed tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, citing national security concerns, which strained relations. Canada retaliated with tariffs on various U.S. goods. 3. Border and immigration policies. Trump's administration placed heavy emphasis on border security. The U.S. and Canada have an extensive shared border, and while Trump's policies mainly targeted Mexico, there were ongoing discussions and challenges related to immigration enforcement, including the U.S.-Canada asylum agreements. Mexico. 1. Trade in USMCA. Similar to Canada, Trump's relationship with Mexico was strongly shaped by the renegotiation of NAFTA. The USMCA included provisions that aimed to create more balanced trade and address issues such as labor rights in Mexico. 2. Immigration and border wall. Trump's policies toward Mexico were also heavily focused on immigration. He insisted on building a border wall along the U.S.-Mexico border to curb illegal immigration and drug trafficking. He also implemented a zero-tolerance policy, resulting in family separations at the border. 3. Tariffs and negotiations. Trump threatened tariffs on Mexican goods to pressure the country into taking stronger actions to curb illegal immigration, especially migrants traveling through Mexico to the U.S. He also used trade negotiations to push for immigration reforms. These policies were often controversial and received mixed reactions both domestically and internationally.